are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done, Ray. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick Fremont.
Oh, yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunker, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you always do the Z.
Like one day I'm not going to Duncan, and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a cord.
And now here's your host for this week's show.
Welcome to BGFG, episode 328. I'm your host, Chris Phoenix, and I am flying solo again. Fremo Z is still building his house and getting his shit together, for lack of a better term. So, again, it's been crazy. We're all getting our vaccines, and we're all getting back to what should be normal life, and that's kind of a good thing. That could be a good thing. It's still very weird out. I know I've personally seen a lot of people without masks, and it's kind of a, I can't get mad at them anymore for that, or wearing their masks half down their face or something. It's tough. I keep my distance. I do what I have to do, but at the same time, it's kind of over it. Everybody, I think, is just over it at this point. It's become like herd immunity. It's just over it in every way, shape, or form. But it definitely, and it's been weird around the internet too. There's a lot of strange things. You still can't get any video cards. You still can't get any consoles. You still can't do a lot of things. A lot of companies are restructuring now because it's the end of their fiscal year, their fiscal term. So a lot of companies, including my company, are restructuring, and it's just a weird time right now. You're kind of getting back to things, but then you're not getting back to things. I feel bad for anybody that's getting laid off right now for any type of work that they do, because there's just, where do you go? There's so little jobs, and I think that's what a lot of people didn't foresee. So, I wish everybody the best that's going through a tough time right now, and, all you can do is wish them the best and pray for them, and that's all you can do. You can also pray for the family of Christopher Plummer, not coming down for breakfast this week. Is Christopher Plummer. Died at 91. He was in the business for over 70 years with over 100 films to his credit. He's most famous for The Sound of Music, but us geeks know him as Star Trek on Discover Country. He was Chang, and he was great at it. It was a perfect role. It was just good. His most recent film that everybody's going to really kind of remember him from is Knives Out, which was great. If you haven't seen him in that, it's just... go watch it. It's really, really good. And unfortunately, you get a golden ticket, my friend, and a towel, and Godspeed. So let's get into this week's news, because there's a good amount of news and other things this week that I really kind of want to get to, because there's a lot to unpack.
BGFG News. You heard it here third.
So first up is, as we spoke about in the opening of the show, there's a lot of questions about the vaccines right now. I think the current vaccine is not my favorite. There's side effects that happen, but they're not as widespread to make news on, I guess you could say. It's two separate vaccines or two separate shots, and people are having trouble getting the second one. There's also a huge issue that happened where vials are being left out while they were being administered. They were being left out, and they got warm, and they were ineffective. So there's a lot going on. The vaccine that everyone should be waiting for is the Johnson & Johnson one. The Johnson & Johnson one is going to be, I think, a little bit better. So all the vials, regardless of which one they are, have to stay between 36 and 46 degrees Fahrenheit, which is fridge temperature. And a lot of places are having trouble maintaining that. There's doctors that have apparently gotten in trouble for not being able to do that. But the long terms of the Pfizer the Pfizer vaccine is still in question, the long terms of it. And I've heard, I know a lot of people in the medical field, and they've said that not only does the second shot make you very sick for like 24 hours, but a lot of the long-term stuff is apparently being, swept under the rug. And if you ask some of the people that have had the vaccine or the disease, they're like, it's bad. You get a partial loss of taste, partial loss of smell. You can't even have loss of hair, constant fatigue, and some of these symptoms are lasting after you get done with the virus, and some are saying with the vaccine. Now, again, this could be just a lot of media just trying to cause things or stir up some trouble. But people that are immune compromised being told to be cautious with the vaccine and to consult their doctor before they even go do it. And this is all because they didn't really have time to test it properly. It really wasn't. It needed to get out there. They had to put it out there and just hope for the best. Johnson & Johnson, on the other hand, has a better approach. They took their time and they thought ahead. And they are projecting already 1 billion vaccines available, which is really nice. They finished all their clinical trials. You get one shot, it induces an immune response, which give some of the crazies credit. It is their immune system that should be kicking in, and this is the way it should be done, not just not taking anything. My immune system's good enough. Yeah, but you needed help at first. This is the way to do it, and it works just like the current flu shot. I think it's brilliant, and I'm going to be waiting for that one. And while you're waiting for the vaccine results, you can also order your liquor now a little bit easier. But still, Uber, which everybody used, Uber, Lyft, they've all gone way above and beyond for the COVID crisis. I mean, those workers should be commended somehow. They should be better known to people because they were the ones that were driving around delivering food, doing all stuff. So Uber, there's another company called Drizzly. Now, we've talked about Drizzly on the show before. It's an alcohol delivery service, and Uber's going to buy them. Now, if you're not familiar with Drizzly, you can basically order liquor. I would love, I haven't looked into it enough to say that there's a minimum because, again, I can't see how they can make money on, it's basically a storefront for existing liquor stores, which is what it originally was. The company partners with local sellers and becomes the delivery driver, same as an Uber Eats guy or girl. So you can see why they wanted to buy them, and they did for $1.1 billion. Why not get your food and liquor in the same time? It's available in over 1,400 cities, and guess what? It actually is smart. Now, I'm trying to see, my problem is this. Most people don't get a lot when they go to the liquor store. They'll get a six-pack, or they'll get a bottle of wine, or they'll get a couple of nips, or they'll get a pint. Everybody kind of gets their thing. So I can see how Drizzly would be effective for restaurants and places, establishments that are going to have a large amount of liquor, or if you're ordering a liquor for a party, say, and you're going to be ordering several cases of beer or something. I can see where that's going to make money. I can't see how it's going to make any money from the guy ordering a sixer before game day. I don't see that. I don't see the payoff. But Uber's got the money, so they bought him for $1.1 billion. I mean, that is absolutely nuts. I thought for sure that you would hear something else of like, I thought that like Uber and any other company would combine themselves and do something. But again, I've personally, myself and my wife have abused Lyft and Uber. We've used them for delivery services before. We sent one person and we asked them ahead of time, we're going to pay you mileage. It doesn't matter what's in the back of your car, right? Good. We're taking an air conditioner. And we delivered an air conditioner. We picked up an air conditioner. Just all sorts of weird things like that. So it is kind of a courier service, a local courier service. And I think doing the Drizzly thing combined with Uber Eats, I think that's a great idea, and I hope it's going to make money. But again, it's Uber. So they've been in financial trouble before. And once everybody starts driving and going out again, their numbers are going to get down. Their numbers are going to go down. There's just not that much of a need for it unless somebody's gotten used to it. So I don't see Uber having that kind of money to lose. Unlike Amazon, who's apparently got money to burn, and to top it all off, Jeff Bezos stepped down from Amazon. He's going to still, and it was started by Bezos. He started this as an online bookstore 25 years ago, and it's now worth $415 billion. It's still the most valuable brand in, I dare say, the world. I know definitely this country, but dare I say the world. He's stepping down as CEO this fall, but there's no worries. He's going to transition, and a lot of CEOs are doing this now. He's going to be transitioning to the executive chairman of the board. And what that's supposed to do is it's supposed to help coach the guy that's coming in next as to what he may or may not do. I don't know. He's saying he's doing this in order to be working on more of his pet projects like Blue Origin, and he does own the Washington Post. So he wants to work a little bit more with those. And I don't see why he couldn't do that as a CEO. But again, I'm not a CEO, so I have no idea what a CEO of a $415 billion company, what pressures he may have. I would assume that you have people under you that take care of those things. But again, I'm not a CEO, so I don't know. And in going through the news, I found an article on Kotaku, of all places, and there's somehow relating his stepping down to a failure in their Amazon game, The Crucible, which was an online game, and it failed. It didn't get pushed well, but it did fail. And Kotaku somehow relating that. I don't see the relation, guys, at all. How he would have stepped down because of that. There's other ventures. I mean, we're going to talk later in the show about Amazon's venture into cloud gaming. So I don't see how, if they're launching cloud gaming and they have plenty of other ventures, they really do. I mean, they're AWS. I mean, there's just so much. And all of these things I can't relate to one game not working. I mean, they have money to burn. You're going to accuse them of ripping off people in the game space? I mean, every game has been done 100 times. There's 100 first-person shooters. Now there's a boatload of battle royales. There's a boatload of open-world RPGs. There's a bunch of World of Warcraft. So it's been done. It's just who's going to write it and make it look better and appealing to somebody. I mean, a shooter's a shooter. A driving game's a driving game. They're all the same. There's nothing new about any of these type of game mechanics. It's just whether you write a good story, whether it's compelling, whether it's something to grab. I just don't think Kotaku had it right, you know. But again, it's tough for people to be accountable. But whether it's the president or writers at Kotaku, but sometimes you get lucky. Take Rachel Maddow. She finally got her day in court, which I was kind of happy to see. So there's this broadcasting network called OAN, One American News. And I'll probably get hate mail at some point about something to do with these geniuses. But One American News is just, I thought Fox News was bad at reporting. OAN is just so one-sided. It's not even funny. So, and if you're offended, I apologize, but that's just the way I see it. It's the most one-sided news organization, and they filed a lawsuit against Rachel Maddow and said that she defamed OAN News Network on her show. She stated on her show that one of the reporters on OAN is also worked for the Russian state news previously. That's a problem. You know, Russian state news is bought and paid for, period. And if you're a reporter, again, you got to know the person and interview them. But seriously, if they're on the Russian state news, they're probably easily taking cues from whoever's above them instead of being an actual reporter and just taking a headline or a news or a topic and running with it and writing it yourself. It's just not nice. They wanted $10 million for that. They wanted $10 million for defamation, which would keep that shitty organization along for quite a bit longer. When the smoke cleared, Rachel Maddow only wanted the money to pay for her legal fees, which came to $247,000. Good on her. Since the election, conservative networks have been locked in a three-way wrestling match for who gets the rights to, make America great again. Fox News has been deemed treacherous by Trump and his fans for reporting Joe Biden fairly won the presidential election. Jeez. and it's seen its worst ratings in decades right now. Newsmax initially ate into Fox's pro-Trump audience, but that network alienated many of its fans for the same reason, where they were just trying to report news, and it wasn't the way other people liked the news. And I've said this to my wife before when we watch news in the morning. News is news. It shouldn't change. It should never change. You should never, if it's an op-ed or if it's an opinion, a straight out opinion piece, then you should let us know. But outside of that, I want to actually hear news. I don't particularly care for your view. I'll make my own decision. Give me the facts. That's what a news program is supposed to do, is give me the facts. And I just don't feel that they were, all three of them, at all. They're doing it very biased. And it's hard to get good news facts. But look, that's enough of the news. Let's get into something a little bit better. Let's get into this week's music. So this week's music is by a band called Hannah Wicklund and the Stepping Stones. 3-piece band. She's the writer. In fact, she formed this band when she was like 10, which is insane. But this girl is talented. She plays guitar. She sings lead. It's really good. Give it a listen. And we'll no doubt catch you on the other side for some very interesting gaming music stories. So here's Hannah Wicklund. We'll catch you on the other side. How about that? Hannah Wicklund and the Stepping Stones. That is some good stuff right there. You got to admit, that was pretty damn good. I mean, I thought it... I was just so... And she's a little tiny girl, too. I love seeing that. Good stuff. All right, so let's get into this week's gaming news.
Gaming.
So first up is, I guess we got to talk about it because, well, everybody's talking about the GameStop stock or GameStop. So first of all, this is a digital world. Anyone can now invest in trade stocks. I've got several people at work that I see all day long looking at their phones to see how their investments are doing, from my boss to the guy that just got hired. I always see them doing it. Now, GameStop isn't really anything to write home about right now. For some reason, they can't make a transition into the digital world. We've talked here on the show before about what they really could do to stay alive. Sell and build custom computers. Do gaming competitions there, weekly, monthly, doesn't matter, which will help evolve the esports world, where you can have regionals and districts and all sorts of locales. Just good stuff. Kind of make it like a Dick's Sporting Goods or Bass Pro Shop for gamers, where you have all sorts of things, not just the games that you rip us off by buying them. Yes, this is still the company that you paid $60 for a game, went out to the parking lot, somebody called you and told you you can have theirs, and you go back in and they'll give you $15 for it. Still unwrapped, which is ridiculous. But back to the GameStop thing. They're dying a slow death. And an online investment community called Wall Street Bets invested into it. They said they could make a change. In fact, they invested into that and the movie theater, AMC, movie theaters. So now the problem here is, and it caught traction. Enough movement happened on Wall Street that that Wall Street took notice of the stock moving, and the stock rose 1,062%. But the problem is that the company's not going to last. So AMC theaters has a chance, but most movie theaters do not. The COVID crisis killed them. I mean, there's no way they can make money, no way they could pay a lease, no way they could pay rent. Even when they have to pay back rent or back leases if they haven't made a deal, there's no way they're going to be able to reopen and recoup any of that money. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs. Now, AMC is my family's favorite theater. We actually have to travel like 45 minutes to get to one, but it's completely worth it, from the stadium seating in some of the theaters to the very small theaters, very personable. The seats that recline back that are very wide. They serve liquor there. They serve meals there. It's a nice place to go. It's really a nice place, and I feel bad that they're going out. And they could probably make it, maybe if they structure stuff correctly. But I have no idea how GameStop, unless they make some of these changes that I recommended. I can't say, I'm not a genius, but I can't say that's going to work for a gaming company. They're like Radio Shacks. Radio Shacks should have never gone out of business. It was just a piss poor choice to go into the laptop computer, shitty ones at that, and cell phone market. You took away all your main business. GameStop the same way. If they switch it to something else, or they continue to just sell hard disk games, they're going to fail. It's inevitable. So the business model, until they do something else, is not worth the money. So there's no sense in investing in it. But because a couple of people said that they were going to, and it had enough traction, and Wall Street saw it, and it went up, and then hedge fund people are investing into it. And it's just completely fake, and eventually it's going to just drop. The same people that bought it, that didn't know any better, just saw a stock that's moving, are going to drop it, and then the price is going to go back to where it should. And it's not going to take long. But some people became very, very rich. I mean, very rich. I know one of the guys I work with, I believe he said he made $4,000. I don't know how true that is, but that's $4,000. But GameStop brand can't maintain that kind of investment. So the people that got out, and they were lucky. The people that didn't, you're not going to get any money. But did you hear who else isn't going to be making any money? Which is kind of sad. So Airsoft Fatty is the name of a streamer on Twitch. And Twitch, for those that don't know, is a platform which pretty much should be just for gamers that are playing their games and broadcasting their gameplay. Usually they have a little picture of themselves in the corner live, but for the most part, you can have a chat room related to that, and you can watch this person play a game. It's good for the people that are very good at games. You can watch them. It's good for the people that are curious about a game or have a hard time at a level, or any number of those things. They might want to buy a game. They can go onto Twitch, find the game, see somebody playing it, and see something they want to purchase. It's good. Unfortunately, like anything else in social media, it went completely friggin' sideways. And you have these these people that go on there, and I'm sorry to say, a lot of it is the women. There's a lot of women on there that will sit there and do nothing. Now, there's guys on there that will just simply work out. That's all they do. Do they give advice? Yes. But they're simply sitting there in their shorts and nothing else and just working out nonstop and then posing. So there's a little bit for everybody, but this isn't the brand for that. The brand of Twitch should be just for game streamers or the like. A lot of radio stations post themselves on Twitch with a single camera just to show what's going on radio stations. I think that's brilliant. But there's a lot of people on there that are taking a lot of risks. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of females that do it. My wife and I will go on to Twitch and we'll be looking at stuff and we'll point things out. I've seen people that literally have nothing to do but sit there and stroke their own hair and make little whiny noises and then fix their little half shirt. I've seen people on there that are wearing tank tops that are very well endowed, and they're just sitting there and they're fixing their shirt. And there's many famous ones that will sit there and bounce whenever they get a certain amount of money. And there's people that are making legit money. They're paying their damn rent with these things. There's guys on there that'll just sit there and keep flexing and you know, touching themselves and, I gotta moisturize my body. And so there is something for everybody out there, but that's basically what Twitch is. It's also got a lot of negative because there's people that'll go into the chat rooms and speak a lot of trash and hate speech and things like that. It's unfortunate. All people need to realize, listen up, sheeple. A lot of you have to realize this is going to happen. This is social media. This is what it is. You can either watch it, or if you are the owner of particular social media, you can section it off. Like if you needed an adult section off. Twitch after dark or Twitch adult. Do something like that. And you can put those over there and let them monetize and do whatever they want. Sometimes it gets that big and you have to do that. Sometimes it gets too big too quick. A good example of getting too big too quick was the video platform that everybody had to use, Zoom. Once COVID hit, they weren't prepared for any of that shit. They exploded because it was so easy to use. So Twitch has been banning people for a while. And this guy, the picture that I have up, Airsoft Fatty, banned him. And I don't think it's really fair. I've seen people get banned. So his real name's Chris LaFon. He's a Twitch streamer. His shtick is actually, unfortunately, being obese, which I hope he gets like better because it's going to do damage to him. I mean, being that big. His other talent is ripping fat bong hits and role-playing Star Wars fights, like with a lightsaber and stuff. Now, he's a very simple person, people. He'll stream while he's going to the store or the laundromat. He'll stream sitting in his room. He'll stream with no shirt on in his yard, sword fighting with somebody. So you got to applaud him for that, man. There's nothing wrong with that. He's living his best life, which is cool. But as someone streams, like when I'm gaming, there's a chat room, right? So apparently there was some hate speech in his chat room. Now, when I'm streaming on Stick Style, yes, Stick Style Show, just look that up at Twitch. When I'm streaming games, I'm not really looking at the chat. I'm concentrating on the games. Now, in between a load screen or when I need to pause it for something, I'll look over at the chat and see what's going on. That's fine, but I'm not watching the chat all the time. Now, you can have moderators in your chat. I know I can have moderators. I don't. I just simply don't care. It's a chat room. If you can't moderate yourself from hate speech, then get the hell out of there. Because if I look at it and I see some hate speech, I'm just going to simply block you and ban you from the chat. That's simple. But if I don't see it, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not watching it all the time. So Airsoft Fatty, Chris LaFon, got banned because he didn't have any moderators for his channel, and some of his viewers saw that there was hateful conduct and reported him. Look, wrong is wrong. But this is true, that bans aren't really fair across the board. They're not. And the best example of this, in my opinion, is Dr. Disrespect. As far as I know, and maybe he knows he's not telling people, but he just got banned, bang, for life, done, gone, with no explanation. Voy Boy, XQC, Zero, Soda Poppin', Soar, Carl, and there's so many more that got banned, and for some, very good reasons, and for some, no apparent reason at all. They only tell them later on. Some are for 24 hours and never get an explanation. So my question is, how do you possibly monitor a chat and still enjoy the stream itself? If you're one of these people, guy or girl, that are streaming, just sitting there and talking, that's cool. That's just chat. Excellent. Have at it. Enjoy it. But if you're sitting there and you're watching your chat, then that's your power right there. If you're not watching your chat, if you're just streaming, let's say I'm playing a full screen game, really into the game, I just decided to stream it, hypothetically, just throwing it out there. I don't even have my camera going. I just have my logo in the corner, and that's it. I'm just gaming. I don't even have my mic on. I am definitely not watching the chat, and nor should I have to, because that's going to take away from what I'm doing, and I don't think that's fair. You shouldn't ask that of somebody. Not to mention, you're asking that of somebody, and you're actually taking 50% of any of the money I make anyway. What the hell is that? So the moderation is now my fault. I'm going to get kicked off if I don't watch it, but you're going to take 50% of the money from the people that are watching me play the game intently or really get into the game. There's some people really get into the game and yell and scream and talk shit, and that's awesome. I love people that kind of talk shit during games as long as it doesn't get mean. That's what it's about. Good. Enjoy it. Have fun. But again, you're taking 50% of all my money and you're going to hold me accountable for every single little thing that happens. I don't see it. What happens if the chat room's going or a different chat room connected to my site or connected to my stream and something happens in there that I don't know about, that I just completely don't know what? You're still going to hold me responsible? I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's freaking fair at all. All right, so let's move on to better things, because that just sort of thing annoys me. You know what's better? Is the fact that Mass Effect Legendary Edition has been announced. It's awesome. Sweet mother of God, I cannot wait. There are a few games that I absolutely love and I'll buy anything for and play anytime and just have the greatest time of my life. And that would be Halo, Gears of War, God of War, Forza Motorsport, and Mass Effect. Those are my go-to games, like Marooned Island game. Got to pick one of those, that'll be one of those. Mass Effect has been graphically remastered, and you can see these videos on YouTube of the before and after. And they're in the link that I put up on the show notes. You're going to be impressed, because there's times like the lighting looked like there was a light, legitimately a flashlight, like a really big flashlight poked onto them, and then they softened up the light. And then there's other ones that are just super impressive, the way they changed it. It was an RPG that was way ahead in the future, like future time. Humanity's struggling into the universe and trying to figure out its way throughout the universe and be part of the global scheme of things, but we're the new race, so we're not portrayed well. What drew me in, besides the story and the great gameplay, is how they set up the gameplay. Every decision matters, and you can see that right there. It's not like a later on thing. It's very much like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, where you kind of choosing light side or dark side. Similar to that, but it's I can't explain it. You have to either go to Twitch and watch one, but see what those choices are, because they're really cool choices that you actually sometimes have to sit back and think about, and other times you can just go with your gut on every single one and just have a great time. You get your own ship. It's called the Normandy. You get to walk around inside of it, and it's just the perfect size. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's for those that play Borderlands. It's slightly smaller than that ship, so it's really good. And I can't say enough good things. You get a little surface vehicle too, which I do have. And I don't know. Can I show it in the? I don't know. I'll try to put it up on the camera. I know there's other people that are watching, but it's called the Mako, and it's the coolest little thing. It's fun to drive around a planet and just do these low gravity jumps, and it's just really fun. And you can get other material that you need throughout the game while you're on there. It's just a really good game, and it becomes fun. It becomes boring fun. So if you're the type of person that maybe likes to smoke a little too much, You can sit there and just do those, fly around the galaxy to the different planets and just scour the planets looking for different things. Or you can play the game story mode, or you can just, it's got a lot to it. The galaxy map, flying around the galaxy, and the galaxy map has got this music behind it that will put you to sleep if you need to go to sleep. There's several times I've put in this game because I just couldn't sleep one night. I put in the game, and by the time the loading screen was done with that stupid music, I was asleep. It was crazy. It's just, I can't say anything better. So you can get the game. You can pre-order it now, and it's going to be on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam at $60 each. Shit, that looks like it's going to cost me. Because I'm a jackhole that wants it on every platform. Damn. Or you could have done what myself and Stickstyle have done, and you pay for the $100 a year for the Origin Pro yearly pass, and you can download it on release day, which is May 14th. So on May 14th, you can download it on Origin for free, which is awesome. There's your PC version right there instead of Steam. But if you're a Steam person, pay $60. But wait, there's more. As always, especially with those particular games I mentioned before, there's always a collector's edition, and it's a good collector's edition. While I would usually complain about getting a special edition and not getting the game, it should come with the game. This one doesn't. It's not shitty. You always got to be on the lookout and pay attention to all the specs, because Forza 7, instead of getting a car, which you thought was the size of that Mako I just held up, which is probably about maybe a foot long, instead of getting the car from the cover like you thought, you got a Matchbox car of the cover of the game, and it was really the absolute shits. It was awful. But there's a collector's edition for this. It's called the Legendary Cache. And let me tell you, it is freaking awesome. And I don't care that it doesn't come with the game. It's $150, and I will pay it all day. So I get a steel case. Not that I necessarily need it, but it is a steel case, and people collect those. You get a morality spinner, which is your Renegade and Paragon, kind of like light side, dark side. You get this little spinner pin, so you can pick which side you're on. You get an N7, which is the number or the indication that's on the identification, rather, that's on the side of the Normandy, your spaceship. The N7 acceptance letter, which is very cool. I always think those things are kind of cool. Ghost of Tsushima had one. I believe For Honor had one. They're all these like letters or notes that you would get from somebody. It looks like it's handwritten. It's on a specific type of paper. It's really cool. You get two canvas art prints, and of course, you get the helmet. And that's what this bad boy is all about right there. It's a 1-to-1 replica helmet of the one that you play in the game. All three games have the same similar helmet. It lights up and can be used for cosplay. And because Renegade and Paragon, light and dark side, are represented by red and blue, you can switch the LEDs on the helmet between red and blue. It's extremely cool. It's I can't say enough. I'm looking forward to get it. It's the first thing I did when I saw it drop was I purchased I purchased this edition, the Legendary Cache, just to get the helmet. I mean, it's brilliant, and if you're a fan, it's perfect. The only complaint I have thus far about the game itself is that there's not going to be any Pinnacle Station. So Pinnacle Station was on the first game, and what it did was it allowed you to play like 13 missions or scenarios, I believe, that let you hone your craft. So if you were playing another game for a while, say Halo, you're playing it for a month with a bunch of friends, and you guys got all bored, and you started playing something else, you went back to Mass Effect because you liked it, you can jump into Paragon and just relearn the different types of weapons and aiming and special abilities and things like that. It's really cool. Every game should do it, but unfortunately they're not going to put it into this one, and they didn't really explain why. I saw 3 different reasons, so I'm not going to bring them up here. I don't know why they wouldn't put it in, but they didn't. Everything else is worthwhile. The helmet, the game, every platform, the better graphics, it's just better. One thing I do want to touch upon before I continue, though, is that every game should do a tutorial at the beginning, like a little mini level tutorial. Great for people that are just starting out. They should do a practice session. That way you can go in, you can practice, and it doesn't really hold itself against you. You can gain very little, maybe some coin or whatever the currency is. But outside of that, just a practice session. Have a solo mission. Not everybody. I jump on some nights after work, and I don't have time to do a multiplayer. You know, I'll make an example of Fortnite. That's going to suck up half an hour of your time, maybe. I don't know, 15 minutes. Seems like forever, but 15 minutes. I might not want to do that night. I might want to jump in, eat some of my dinner, play another game, eat some of my dinner. I might want to start playing a game, and then my wife calls me or the kids need me, and I got to go downstairs, and I do that. It's better with a solo or a story mission. And then put in multiplayer, then put a custom one. I think Halo does a very good job of this. I think, nothing, I can't even think. I'm too tired. But there's a lot of games that do this. Overwatch, a lot of games that do this type of practice, and I think it should continue in all the games. It's very good. Oh yeah. So I forgot to mention that I did get accepted into the Amazon Luna beta. Amazon has a game development unit that many don't know about. I stumbled upon it. It's called Amazon Luna. It's their cloud service, kind of like Google Stadia and Microsoft's xCloud and GeForce's Now. Play on almost any platform you want. Really, literally play on any platform you want. And with cloud saves, you can be playing on the PC, then have to leave the house, pick it up, and play again from the waiting room of wherever you're at, or in your car while you're waiting to go into work or something. It's great. There's not a lot of games that are directly from Amazon yet. Most are indie games, some basic games. But you do and can add a Ubisoft subscription, and it really opens up. I believe it's $14 a month it adds on, which I think is a little steep. If I already have a Ubisoft account, why am I paying another $14 to do it on this platform? And I think that's what's going to make me cancel. That's the only tough part. Once you have that, though, you get a lot more. You get Control, you get Grid, you get Metro Exodus. And then you get all the Far Cry games. You get Assassin's Creed Origins, Valhalla, Odyssey. You get Ghost Recon. You get the Tom Clancy games. You get Watch Dogs. So there's a good amount of games for being on a mobile device, which I think this is what it's geared towards. Those games looked great. I played one at work in the parking lot. I played one inside of work on the business network while I was on lunch break. Just want to say that. I also played it at home, and I think it's great. They offer a controller. Looks very much like an Xbox controller, but it's purple, and it has the Luna logo in the center. And also, if you buy the kit, which I believe is like $50 or $60, maybe $80, you can attach onto that controller. Now, you can use that controller on your PC. You can use it on your iPad. You can use it on your iPhone. You can use it on your Android device. But then they have a clip that, of course, that you can put onto it on the back that'll put your phone on the top. So you have the controller phone type thing. You've seen 100 of those clips. And it comes with a case that not only will hold the controller, but the clip as well. And it's small. It's kind of like the original Xbox controller case. What's the name of that controller? The Elite. The Elite controller case. So it's very cool. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a good idea for kids that are on their phone all the time, and you want to switch them off of their phone in social media. You can put them on this, and if this is something that they like, they'll be able to utilize this in the backseat of the car instead. It's a self-contained unit. It only costs you 80 beans, and it's not too bad. I think it's good. I just started playing it, and I don't want to give it a full review yet because the experience that I've had thus far on 3 different networks, it was really good. It streamed very well. I played what did I play? Oh, I played one of the Assassin's Creeds, maybe Origins. I think it was Origins. And it was really smooth. Really smooth, looked really good. Had a couple of people at work look at it just to get their opinions, and they were like, wow, what is that? That's really good. And I told them what it was, and they're like, no way. I was like, yep, this is actually quite good. So there is a market for cloud gaming, and I think this is really going to do well with it. So, all right, that's it for gaming. Let's get into the last segment of this evening, and it's called For What It's Worth. So I can definitely do this really quickly because there's a lot of just negatives in For What It's Worth. And I just wanted to put that out there. And some for good reasons and some not. First and foremost, Internet Explorer is gone. So the original Internet Explorer, which some people still have to use, shit, even my business for a while, I had to use it to get into certain applications and certain things. It is a garbage heap. The original IE is done. After all this time, that stupid Swiss cheese of browsers is finally going to be removed from all future builds of Windows. Starting April 13th, it'll be gone. You don't have to deal with it. Just like we lost Flash at the beginning of the year, thankfully, IE is now one of them. You know what else is gone, which I'm really happy about being an IT person, is Intel's Optane. I'm glad that's gone. Did it serve its purpose? It absolutely served its purpose before. Before SSDs were really popular. Now they're really popular and they're really cheap, and that is really annoying. So it's great that it's finally gone as well. You know who else is gone? Gina Carano is gone. She played Cara Dune on The Mandalorian, and she is gone from all of Disney. So when actors under the Disney umbrella break any of their rules, any of them, they are literally consequences immediately, like they're gone. The guy that plays Spider-Man, Tom Holland, spewed out a bunch of spoilers and stuff. So then he got chaperoned to different interviews because you can't take him out, and he does really well. It's just an honest mistake. But he got chaperoned so he wouldn't tell certain things. Unfortunately for Gina Carano, Disney doesn't agree with a lot of her views. Since sometime last year, Disney hasn't been real happy with her at all from the shit that she says on social media. Her post about the election, Jeffrey Epstein, anti-masks, etc., have all like kind of pissed them off, but they didn't want to really say anything. In fact, my wife turned to me at when we found out and said, "What happened to free speech?" And Gina Carano has got free speech, but Disney also has an image that they want to keep, and that includes any of the talent that they signed. This was notorious during the early Mickey Mouse Club days and, you know, some of their other properties. You couldn't say, do, or comment on anything. If you were a voice actor and you went to go do an interview or something, you could do the voice, but you could only do certain things that the voice would do. You couldn't do anything dirty. You couldn't say anything like off humor or political or anything like that. You just couldn't. Now, are there imitators out there? Absolutely. 110 imitators or people that no longer work for Disney. But if you're in Disney, then it's not going to happen. Now, those that don't know, Gina Carano is a former MMA fighter. She was put into The Mandalorian. She was in Deadpool. And her character got a lot of traction. I mean, everybody loved her. And will she ever come back? Let's just say that she got what wrestling people call future endeavored. You know, good luck in your future endeavors. There's no we've parted ways or, you know, we look to see what's going on in the future. No, she got future endeavored. Goodbye. You're done. But sadly, nothing can last forever. You know, just like Call Recorder. There's a product that used to be, that was or still is on the Mac platform. And I used to use that in recording the early days of this show and our previous show, 30-ish, which started this whole network. All of those were recorded on our Macs with Call Recorder for Skype. It was the best. It still is one of the best. It's so simple. Instead of dealing with all that other bullshit, you simply hit the button and you hit record. That's all. It starts up with it and it works every single time. It's a tiny little program that sits right underneath your Skype call, and all you do is hit record and you see your two levels. So you can see the two levels, make sure that everybody's being recorded, and that's it. It was perfect, brilliant. 16 years. It's been the best recorder on Mac, especially when you're using Skype, especially for podcasting. But lately, though, every single update from Skype, which is from Microsoft, has broken Call Recorder. Then you have Apple doing their own updates, which aren't breaking Call Recorder, but making it more difficult, and they have to rewrite the code and things like that. And then another Skype update will come out and break Call Recorder because Skype, of course, had their own idea of what to record and how to do it. So it's been a cat and mouse game between the two for several years, like 3 or 4 years. Now with Apple Silicon coming out, which we spoke about on a previous show, which is the way Apple should go, and it's brilliant, they called it quits for the good old recorder. Just done. Now, they've replaced it with Ecamm Live, which is really incredible. So if you're a Mac person, and a lot of people that watch the show are, head over to Ecamm, take a look at Ecamm Live. It looks like it's just going to be great. I can't wait to get my new Mac and try it on it. I think it's going to be something really special. And these are only for Mac. I apologize to everybody that aren't Mac owners, but that's your fault, not mine. Let's end on some good news. Babylon 5. Those that don't know, Babylon 5 was 30 years ago, I think it was. It's finally been remastered, re-released to the public. You can find it on iTunes, Amazon, and HBO Max. And let me tell you, it is completely cleaned up. It's in 4:3 ratio because the CGI will simply look better that way. It was the earliest CGI that they really had. It's incredible. It's a space opera, all right? So the writer and the producer, his name is J. Michael, I'm going to try to pronounce it properly, Straczynski, and he did it under the production label of Babylonian, and he also did his own Synthetic Worlds Ltd. For the CGI and stuff. It was incredible. Warner Brothers Domestic Television put it out there, and they tested it with a test pilot movie, which everybody was waiting for sci-fi to come out at that time. It was just, in 1993, people were starving for good sci-fi on TV. Excuse me. Something other than a Star Trek. Babylon 5, The Gathering was the first movie. It was okay. Then they commissioned the series. Now, the series was written just in 5, it was a 5-year story arc, 5 seasons, 22 episode seasons, or 22 episodes per season, 5 years, 5 seasons. He got begged so much to do more because it made, by the 3rd season, you had other actors contacting Warner Brothers to try to get in on it because it was such a, look, if you don't like the CGI, that's fine, but watch it for the story. The story is incredible. The story will catch you up, and it's really well written. And the actors are unbelievable. These actors are really, really doing something special. And a lot of people, you're going to see a lot of stars that you saw from the 80s show up in this show, and as well as stars, young stars in some cases, from the 90s in this show. Because it was such good writing, they noticed it, and they wanted to be part of it because it was just a great acting experience. The directors that were directing these episodes really asked a lot of their actors, and that's what a lot of good actors really want. So check it out. It's on iTunes, Amazon, HBO Max. It's been scanned from the original film negatives. It looks beautiful, and I encourage you to try it. At least give the first season a try. If you don't like the first season, don't watch anymore. But if you watch the first season, and I think the 4th episode into the 2nd, if you're not hooked, you won't be hooked. So, again, that's all I got for this week. So, 10's down, show's over. And look forward to seeing everybody real soon.
So you can find more of this garbage at bgfgonline.com. You can also send us an email with your questions or suggestions at bgfgshow@gmail.com. Find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, and YouTube.